What's up? What's up? I got asked a real good question recently. Who should have been more of a dynasty? The St. Louis Rams of the OOs or the Seattle Seahawks of the 1-1s? Interesting. Both NFC West teams. It's very compelling. Two incredible stories because if you go Kurt Warner, who was bagging groceries, that's kind of like the John Starks for the NFL. And then you had Russell Wilson, who late draft pick. No one even knew who he was like that to emerge to what he became. So two incredible stories and how they were built and where they were led and you had comeback with the coaches with Dick Vermeil coming back with the Rams and then you had Pete Carroll with the Seahawks. So which one was a compelling? And they both got a New England story. Spoiler alert, they both lost to the Patriots. Ain't this kind of ironic when you think about these things? How these things almost kind of, hmm. Yeah, but we'll get to that in a moment. But which of the two teams did I think should have been a dynasty? Which ones do I think should have had a longer run? Should have had that burn? Should have been that team? Um, the greatest show on turf was incredible. Marshall Falk, Isaac Bruce, those guys. They had a great core of offense. That offense was like a replica of the no huddle of the 90s, the K gun, the build. A lot of teams were running. And you couldn't really stop those cats. And Kurt Warner just, it really wasn't until the NFC Championship game against Tampa Bay that Tony Dungy actually had the best plan up against them, because that Super Bowl against Tennessee, everything kind of, it was tight. But they were something else to watch, though. I mean, they really were fun. Orlando Pace was on the line. They were really something else to watch. And again, when Vermeil stepped down and Mike Martz took over that Super Bowl against New England. And that was pretty much the end of that little run that they had, but could it have been more? You would have thought, because Mike Martz was the offensive guru. Had that Doubtfire look going on, and Mark Bulger was waiting in the wings, but Kurt Warner was something else. I mean, they had the talent. Terry Holt, Isaac Bruce, that was a bad team. Ricky Pro. Could it have been more? We'll never know. Could have been. Thought they could have done something. It's questionables right there. We get to the Seahawks. Obviously, they spanked Peyton Manning, embarrassed him in the Super Bowl, 43-8. Russell Wilson was coming to his own. The defense, beast mode with Marshawn Lynch. You had a defense that was tough. You had a strong sector, young, fresh, and underpaid, but that's another story, another video. But then with the Patriots, that Super Bowl, that loss, that not giving Marshawn the ball at the goal line, that cutesy, trying to be cool, slick interception that turns their fortunes. And again, they lost to New England. So you got to kind of wonder which team should have been the dynasty. As great as the Rams' offense was, I got to say Seattle. Because Russell Wilson was winning. And I think that, Kurt Warner did get to another Super Bowl with Arizona at the end of the decade. And he was an MVP. He got that over. That's an interesting debate who was actually the better quarterback because Russell was coming on and Seattle had a better defense. And they should have had more of a run. They should have. So I think it's close, but I think that the Seahawks should have had more of a run of the two. But it makes for a compelling question of which team did not get the most out of what they had. Because though the Rams were the greatest show on turf in the OOs, the Seahawks, that should have been more. That should have been more. Should have been more. And sadly, it wasn't. But anyway, let me know what you think. St. Louis Rams of the OOs versus Seattle Seahawks of the 1-1s. Which football team should have had more success, more dominance? Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts and comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.